If you're struggling with life or struggling with anything, then I want you to watch this video, because here's a young man and he's amazing. Now, I think of when I was young, didn't have it so good, didn't really have the best upbringing, but hey, that's got nothing compared to this guy, Emmanuel Lovedale from Uganda. He lives in Bulawayo, Uganda, where they have those beautiful Victoria Falls, which is in the background. Emmanuel was a nice, happy boy, used to run 100 meters, and he used to play a keyboard. And then all of a sudden, at 15 years old, his body started to give up on him. And he went through what one could call hell. If you can imagine what it was like for him, then most of you got nothing to complain about. And he's another person that I've met, like Alex Plasky. They have so much to work through, and yet look at the spirit that fires up within them. And that's yours. It's available to you too. And really, I do want you to listen to this message, because when I speak to this person, he's such a lovely person in difficult situation, and yet he doesn't show a grudge on his face. You don't see, all you see is someone who's come to terms with themselves. So now, please watch it all the way through and share it if you can, because we need to hear more stories like this, because we have no right to complain when we can see what others have to put up with. How did you get to where you are? I mean, it's not easy out there, is it?
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's not.
So how?
Well, I would like to, first of all, I'd like to say, I think it has to be God, because some people just broke down and then they just gave up and lost their lives because of the stress and all. But for me, I would like to think it's God, and also my mother. She's been there for me like all the time, and she goes to church, and the church people also would come and they would encourage me, and that really gave me strength to the thing that kept me also going was my faith in God, because I strongly believe that a miracle someday would happen, and I'll. Oh,
Come on, just go through. You're a normal, okay, 1 until 15 years old. Then what happened?
I started developing pain in my feet. So from then on, the pain started to increase. Then I told my parents about what was happening. And then they took me to doctors. The doctors, they checked, they ran some blood tests, and they didn't see anything wrong. They said my blood was okay. There was nothing they could find in my blood. So they just gave me some meds, and I was referred to a specialist who did some tests on my blood again, and then I went through some X-rays and some scan, but still they couldn't come up with a diagnosis to see what was the problem. So am I supposed to look at the camera of my phone, or I'm supposed to be looking at your face as I'm talking to you?
It doesn't matter. I can see you fine.
Okay, because I don't. I wanna talk like I'm looking right into your into your eyes.
I'm looking at you. It's okay.
All right, so
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
So that's what happened. Then I the doctors here still they couldn't find anything wrong with me, and the meds that they gave me they reduced the pain a little bit, but each time that I would try to stand and to walk, it became more and more difficult, until eventually I could not walk. And from then on, the deformities of my body, continued up until the age of 21. It was now evident that there was something wrong with my body. But all this time, if you could see me seated on a chair, you could not tell, if I could walk or if I not walk, if there was anything wrong with me, because by then my hands were still normal. They hadn't deformed. So from then on, I was just keeping to myself, just staying inside the house. I just didn't want to interact with people anymore. I was distraught. I was discouraged. So even though people from church they would come and encourage me and say a prayer and all that, but it took me a very very long time, to wanna interact with people and do the things that I'm doing right now. But in all this time, the experiences, the life experiences, they've been just, it has been a roller coaster, because I got to experience the kind of lifestyle that people living with disabilities go through, and it's not fun, especially in this part of the world, when where people are still primitive. Well, some of them, many of them, I would want to say, even government officials, they are somewhat primitive when it comes to people who have special needs. So I got to experience uh, the lifestyle that these people go through, and it's only this year that one of my friends on Facebook, he was. I just opened up to him, and then the words, funny enough, the words that he told me, I've heard them over and over and over in the past. But when this guy told me that, no, don't be shy, don't be discouraged, don't mind what people say. You are okay the way you are. As long as your brain functions well, you can impact the world and make a difference.
yeah,
From that moment, it just made a huge impact in my heart, and I felt it. I felt that this guy, was God sent. I believe it was God's time for me, to make a step forward. So from that moment, I then came up with the idea of setting up a foundation where I would mobilize support from people from all walks of life, from all over the world. Where are you
yeah,
there?
yeah. You're back again. You're back
I
again.
lost you. I
Yeah,
lost you a little bit. Okay, so and then so this guy encouraged me, he inspired me, and then from then on, I decided to I had a vision now to set up a foundation where I would where the foundation would address the needs of the people living with disabilities, and also orphans, because from the time I was growing up, I just had a passion for orphans. I had friends that were orphaned, and I would see the lifestyle that they were living. They were going through hell as kids. We would help out, with what we could. We could sneak out some food from home, just to give a friend who's being starved at home by nasty relatives that are now taking care of them after they lost their parents. So it has always been my passion, to
yeah,
help them. So I decided now that this foundation that I've set up would also be helping uh, orphaned children. Yeah. And regarding the physically challenged, I felt my foundation would address the needs that the government and other organizations, overlooked. Because most of the organizations, they provide food handouts, they provide, wheelchairs and all the other things, which is very good. It's very good, but there's something which is very big that has never been addressed, which is accommodation and educational facilities, for and health facilities for people living with disabilities. These areas have been overlooked, because I've experienced like the story that I told you, where I was, where we had found accommodation with my mother and we were rejected because of my condition. These people, they just heard that she has a son who uses a wheelchair. They never knew whether I was normal, whether I could uh, chat with them and crack jokes with them, and I was just normal. It was only the physicality which was different from theirs, and it wasn't my fault that I was in this situation. They didn't care. They didn't want to know about what led to my disability and all of that. So that was one of the times in my life where I would say it was hell, because seeing my mom, sometimes when you're growing up, you have these dreams where you're helping out your mom, and you do ABC, you buy her this, you buy her that, and all those dreams were shattered because of this condition. And so when I looked at her in a panic mode, in a desperate situation, that really broke me. And as a man, because this disability doesn't take away the fact that I'm a man, and I somewhat feel like I'm supposed to be my mother's protector, So I just felt helpless. But
Father wasn't
so
around?
come again.
Was your father not around?
My dad passed on in 2006. He passed on in 2006.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was now me and my mom. My other brothers are in other countries. My other brother is in Zambia, and my other brother is in Botswana. The other one is here in Zimbabwe, but he lives in a different city. Yeah, and if you follow the Zimbabwe story, you know how difficult the economy, the situation here. People are living under extreme economical difficulties. So there isn't much, that my other guys, my other siblings, haven't been able to do. So it has always been me and my mom, most of the time. She's the one who's been carrying the burden, so to speak. So
So that you don't
now
see
that
very much? You don't see any of your other,
come again.
you don't see your brothers very much?
Rarely, because of resources. Because of resources, it's pretty much a challenge for them to make frequent visits. But they do send some support for me and my mom, just to have a normal meal, and that's it. It just ends there. So
Your my Facebook friend Alex, he's in a wheelchair, and he had a horrific accident, and he's started to learn to be a motivational speaker, and he's like you. You don't have a grudge on your face. You just not as if some people when they're in your position, they have a grudge on their face and they're angry, but you don't have that. You know, how how did you find that? Because obviously you went through something. How did you find that? How did you find you now? I mean, it's like you're living. How did you find that?
well, one thing about me is that during this whole period where I was where I became disabled, physically challenged, I always managed to hide the pain and the stress that I was going through. I would crack jokes with people who would come to visit, because I didn't want people to focus on what I was going through. I didn't want people to feel pity for me. So to take away that that attention, that pity vibe that they would have brought, I'll change the subject and then try to talk about something else and crack jokes, because I felt like I still didn't want to accept the condition. So if somebody comes to me and they want to look at me like I'm disabled, I would want to shift their attention from the disability to the person that I am, But when I was alone now, that is where I would really, sometimes cry and I would ask God that, but why did this happen to me, But but now I don't have those questions anymore, because after being encouraged by people like Nick Vujicic, Sean Stevenson, I've seen that I could do more to impact the world. All my dreams were not shattered like I thought. I could still achieve what I was dreaming when I was still, in my normal condition. I could still achieve it and do even more than I could have done in the normal state. So that is the drive that I have now, and also to help others, because I'm privileged that I can manage to talk and to connect with people like you over the internet. But many of the people that are in my position, they don't have that access, to share their story with the world. Then that's just how life is. That's just how difficult life is for most of the people like that. So I just want to use, this opportunity that I have to reach out to people, and to be the voice of all those other guys that are not able, to present their stories to the world, and to make the world a better place, for everybody.
I learned long ago that if I meet someone who's disabled or anything, is to ask a question about it, because what I understood is it's terrible for someone who's disabled when the other person's not saying anything and trying to hide as if they haven't seen it. Whereas
Yes.
I've learned that you bring it out in the open straight away, like, did you have an accident or was it this or whatever? And then neither of you have to worry about it. And I understand people in your
Yes.
prefer that. They don't want people
Yes.
to be uncomfortable because it makes them uncomfortable.
Yes, but it's only recently. It's only recently when I was watching one of the videos by Alex on his page,
Oh yeah,
when he said, when he said, it's normal for people to be inquisitive and to want to know what really is going on with somebody whom they see, who is
yes,
in the wheelchair. It's normal. And what really made sense to me was that even you, like myself, like the people who are physically challenged, even us, there are sometimes when we see something or when we see somebody and we want to inquire that what's going on there. So it's a natural instinct that people would want to understand, something that they don't understand. So I shouldn't take offense, instead I should take that opportunity to explain to the people what really happened, and then they will begin to appreciate me, for who I am and the way that I'm relating to them, So.
And I met many people when I told them, look, if you meet somebody who's disabled or whatever, talk about it, bring it out in the open. Don't, because they'll go, oh no, I can't do that. I can't mention that. But I said, you'd be surprised how grateful they'll be. Tell me, if it's not a difficult thing for you, what do you remember about the first 15 years beforehand? What type of person were you? Were you a naughty boy? Did you like to get up to? What were you like?
Well, I was very athletic. I was very athletic. I used to do 100 meters at school up until the age of 13. And the biggest experiences that I had in this life, in the lifetime, if my lifetime of age, at the age of up to the age of 15, I used to play the keyboard. I was in a school band. I was in the school band. Yeah. So I used to play the keyboard at school, and then also in church. I could play the keyboard also in church at that young age. So it was really great. It was really fun. We traveled all over the country with the school band, and
Yeah. Can you,
that.
are you able to play some music now? Is there something that you can play so you can satisfy your own talents?
Well, unfortunately, when my hands started to deform, I couldn't
Yeah.
play the keys that I would want to play, in the way that I would want to play. But I've been teaching, some I've taught some people how to play, the keyboard. I'll just show
Right.
the person that play this key and that key and that key, and then yeah. So I managed to teach some people how to play the keyboard.
Let me ask you, what community of Zimbabwe are you in?
I'm in Bulawayo, the second
Okay.
largest.
Okay.
Yes, yes. In this nation, a lot of people are unemployed, and the situation is worse for people who are living with disabilities and some orphans. So the best present that one can give to people who are going through, this situation here in Zimbabwe would be food. So I was just thinking that I would buy them a 10 kg mealie meal, 2 kgs rice, 2 liters cooking oil, and 2 kgs sugar and bath soap, and then a drink and sweets, just for them to have a Merry Christmas, something that they would eat on Christmas, you know, take them up to the New Year, you know, at least they'll be having something in their stomachs, and they'll it will make a difference, even if you
So,
want.
your
Now, like what,
mother in all this now. How's your mother? Is she happy?
oh, yeah, she's excited. She's excited. I told her about you, and she was excited. She was excited. That there are still good people out there who are willing to help even a stranger. It's just you have a good heart. You know.
Worried about with um, when you got to do a speech or something?
Yeah, I'm supposed to motivate these people because so many so many people have lost hope. So many people are just distraught with what's happening in the country, and what's happening in their lives. So I also want to use this opportunity just to lift people's hearts and uh, give them the message of hope. So that's mainly that's just that's what I feel like I have to do. I just have to interact with them, that even if you are in a situation like this, you can still be happy and enjoy life in spite of the circumstances circumstances and the challenges that life is throwing at you. You can still have hope, and someday the story will change. The
How
story will
many
change.
people are you talking about?
Well, I was expecting like 100 people,
Yeah.
100 people, and I think that's one of the things that has been stressing me, so to speak. But I can always reduce the number of people, depending on the resources that I'm going to be able to galvanize. So I'm gonna
As long
reduce
as
the number of people.
as long as you got the support, go for it. 100 people, it's manageable. Go for it. Um, what what you've told me already today, you can use some of that to do your speech. All right. Now read it. Don't try and remember it everything, because it's you, and as you're reading it, a lot of it will make sense to you anyway, because it's been your true experience. All right.
Yes,
Now,
yes, yes, yes.
what I want you to do is write up something like, okay, and I'll create a couple of questions to get people involved. How many of you, here's a possible start, get them involved, listening. How many of you struggle with your condition? How many of you find it easy? How many of you find it hard? You know, I was exactly the same one day, and I hated it. When it started coming on, I had no idea what was happening. And then bit by bit, all these problems occurred, and suddenly here I am, I feel useless. And then one day, someone said to me this, and it gave me hope because I heard them. Before that, I don't think I was listening. And then I heard them. And I want you to hear me, and I want you to feel me, because I know what it's like. I've been through it, and I know it's not always easy. But I'm doing this because I know exactly how you all feel. And so I think we can learn together and grow together and get stronger together and recognize life is a lot more than just playing games or having fun. It doesn't matter who you are, you can always. So there you are. I've almost done one for you. So you write something, your story, and I'll change it and put some
Awesome.
front for you.
Awesome.
You can make that speech. And what I'll do is I'll get you to make it to me on one of these sessions before Christmas.
Okay.
And I will pick up where you're not, it's not so easy for you, or where, and I'll tell you where you can put the emphasis. For part of me thinks you don't need much of that. Part of me thinks that if you've got the story, you're gonna deliver it well. You've already got a good start, that's for sure, because you've got a nice tone, you've got a nice volume, and you've got none of this. I can't do it. I'm too nervous. None of that. I know when I first went in front of a group, I know what it's like.
Yeah.
And one of the things is, if I can, if anything that you send through is a bit funny, I'll tidy up for you. You never force humor. Humor comes just the moment it's funny. So when you share the moment, you don't have to make people laugh. They'll laugh when they find it funny.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, and we can do that. So you've got a few things to do. I'll get in touch with Alan Rains. Do you know Alan Rains? Do you talk to people from Uganda?
No, I don't know him. He's from Uganda.
He's from Uganda, and he was a street kid at 6 years old, and he's been through drugs and alcohol and prison, and he's now helping young girls on the street. He used to be on the street, and now he's helping children on the street, and he's doing wonderful work. So Alan, Allan, Rains, Reihns. You might find he's a member of my group, so you might find his name in there. Probably will find his name. Okay. Say hello. Say hi. I'm going to send him a message and tell him we can use this remit thing, and we'll get going. We've got plenty of time now. That's good. So I can get that pretty quickly. And anything else before I go?
Well, I sent you the email. I sent you an email. Did you see it? I sent you an email yesterday with the.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would also want to. I would also want you to help me with the eloquency and the way that I put out, the whole vision. If there's some things that I need to change,
I like it. It says it all. I like it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a video up, and I'm going to say, you know, a lot of people might think, well, like I phoned you up and I would have verified who you are, and
Yes.
and I'm going to say that I wanted to phone up and I spoke to you, and well, you'll see what I put, and I'm going to shorten our session and pick out some good points just to, and put it on the team so that people can see you.
No, that'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
That'll
Now,
be great.
this you now here is not the you that you've got in the picture. You know that? It's almost there.
Really?
I'll have a look at it. Maybe I'll take a picture off here, and if it looks good, I'll send it to you. Because you wear glasses in the picture.
Oh, you mean the profile picture on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh, that was some 5 years ago. That was some 5 years ago.
I'll take one off the video. See if I can take one, and I'll send it to you if you can. And then if you can play around.
Oh, that'll be.
It up. Yeah.
That'll be lovely. That'll be lovely.
Because you've got that smile on your face, and you actually, it's very clear. Your picture's very clear now, so I'll be able to do that. I've done it for I told one lady in India, change the picture. You're a different person. You know? And people have got old pictures, and of course, when you look at someone, you think, oh, that.
Mm-hmm.
She was a very, very nice person. She does a lot of good work interviewing people and helping people. So there's a lot of people in our world doing good stuff. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Anything else at this point? And I'll.
Well, I think we have pretty much touched everything. It was a very lovely meeting with you, sir, and I'm very humbled, and you know, may the good Lord bless you, because you're a good man, and not everybody would want to know about somebody that they just met, you know, randomly on Facebook. You know, it takes somebody with a good heart to, you know, to act the way that you have with me, you know, and I really appreciate it. And I thank God for your life, and thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emmanuel. I really appreciate that, and I love you too. You're you know, a lot of people should understand. Some of us don't have it as easy as others, and
Yes.
you're a good for people to understand that. You really, yeah, it's amazing. You don't have a grudge on your face. It's like Alex Plasky, and he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. So I'm gonna do that video as soon as I can and get it up on Facebook, and I'll get organized with this money transfer.
Oh, thank you, sir. That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome.
Okay.
That'll be awesome.
So we say goodbye, and we'll
ciao, Solo. Yeah. I'm saying, yeah, we can sign out now. It was a great meeting.
I'll speak to you soon.